It is 6:30, and I'd like to call this regular meeting of council to order and state that the city of Winkler is situated on Treaty 1 land, home to the Anishinaabe, Cree, Ojibwe, Dakota, and Dene peoples, and the homeland of the Métis Nation. We respect the treaties that have been made on these territories and dedicate ourselves to a future based on respect for all peoples, moving forward to our harmonious, prosperous future together. Be it resolved that the agenda for the regular council meeting of February 24th, 2026 be adopted. Mover?
Marvin.
Second?
Peter.
I would like it noted that Deputy Mayor Fraze is not able to join us this evening, and that Councillor Don Friesen is joining us via audio. Hello, Don.
Here.
Okay.
You guys.
As we always do when somebody is not in chambers, I'll ask you verbally, Don, to respond to each motion and/or comment.
Yes.
All in favor?
Yes.
Carried. Be it resolved that the minutes of the regular council meeting of February 10th, 2026 be adopted. Mover?
Michael.
Second?
Ryan?
Minutes are attached. Do we have any questions or comments on what we see there? All in favor?
Yes.
Carried. That then takes us to our delegations. Jody, if you don't mind just letting us know how we work delegations, please.
We have delegations, and later we have a public hearing as well. For this section of the meeting, our delegations are presentations by outside organizations that come to present to council. You have approximately 15 minutes, and it's a presentation to council. There's no decisions made by council, but it's a time for council to hear whatever concerns are being brought forward. So with that, we will ask for the first delegation, and that is Sally and Larry regarding the animal control bylaw.
Okay, all right. Hi, everyone.
Good evening.
Aye.
Mayors and members of council, thank you so much for allowing us to speak today. My name is Sally Marcellet. The incident that brings us here involves a young family, a very young children, a young mother, and a family dog in what should have been the safest place imaginable, their family home. It was January 7th of this year, another ordinary afternoon in Winkler. A young mother was home on maternity leave with her 3 small children, a 4-year-old son, a 1-year-old daughter, and a 3-month-old baby boy. They were playing and snuggling in the living room, moving through the quiet rhythm of a normal family day. Supper would soon be started. Nothing felt unusual, and nothing felt unsafe. And then suddenly there was a loud disturbance. Her 1-year-old daughter began screaming as 2 massive dogs entered the home. Everything changed in seconds. Furniture was struck. There was jumping and banging against the walls, the kind of chaos that makes your heart leap. She did what any mother would do. She grabbed her children and ran to the bedroom, pulling them aside and holding the door shut with her body. Outside the door, she could hear the dogs fighting. Heavy movement, bodies hitting walls, crashing. The sounds were violent motion more than barking. Then came the realization that no parent should ever face. She realized that her baby was still lying on the sofa in the living room, and she was trapped. If she opened the door, she risked the dogs entering the room where her children were hiding. If she ran for the baby, she risked her children following her. She could not reach him. She called her husband, who was working in another community. And as fathers here, I ask you to imagine that phone call. Your wife terrified on the phone, your children screaming in the background, and you not even in the same town. You cannot get there and you cannot protect them. She asked him to call the neighbors, who were family friends, to see if they could come in and rescue the baby. She then called 911. Police arrived approximately 8 minutes after she entered the bedroom. Neighbors arrived first. They were able to get inside while the dogs were in another part of the home. The wife grabbed the baby and brought him to safety, and the husband tried to push the dogs away from the bedroom where the family dog was trapped, but could not get close. The young mother heard her neighbor yell through the door that the baby was safe and that they should stay inside. Numerous officers from Winkler and Morden attended, along with animal control. When the officers entered, they entered immediately. Tasers were deployed, pepper spray was used. The family began coughing and moved further away from the door. The dogs were eventually secured in a bedroom, and the mother and children were removed from the home. It took approximately another hour and a half for police to fully gain control. Officers used tasers, pepper spray, shields, and snare poles. She was later told the tasers and spray did little to subdue the dogs. When it was over, the family learned that their beloved dog had been killed in the couple's bedroom. Another family removed the little body so the family would not have to remember him that way. And when she returned the next day, she wept. There was blood on the walls, blood on the floors, on furniture, on toys, on clothing. Taser vials were strewn throughout the house. Animal waste. A mattress used as a shield destroyed, bed frames damaged, and furniture destroyed. The home was not livable that night. Her children could not return to their beds. These two large female dogs had come straight from the neighboring yard where they lived with their owner. Tracks in the snow later showed they did not wander. They came directly to the back door. Those two dogs were later euthanized. And all in all, 3 dogs lost their lives that day. I'm going to call Larry. And I'll join after him.
Well, good evening and thanks for the opportunity to address council here. As mentioned, my name's Larry and I'm a citizen here. I've been asked by the father of the family to speak on their behalf about what they experienced on January 7th, when 2 pit bulls invaded their home. Before I do that, I do want to say that I believe that Winkler is a great place to live and supported by excellent leadership. So as I stand here, I'm not coming to complain and I'm not coming to labeling. I'm coming to encourage the council to do what it has been doing, and that is to assess situations when they arise and to do what you can to ensure the best path moving forward for the members of this community. So why me? On January 18th, my daughter-in-law, who is a sister to the father of this family, asked if I could drop by the home to help clean up. I don't want to dwell on what I did see, but I do believe a few details are needed to give perspective. The aftermath that I saw when I entered the home was evidence of the chaos that these animals inflicted on the family the afternoon before. The mother, as mentioned, had wisely barricaded herself with 2 of her children into one of the bedrooms where she remained trapped until police ultimately would later retrieve her. The sounds outside that bedroom door caused horror in her mind, especially since she had no way of knowing what was actually happening, and most importantly, the condition of her youngest child, the baby, who was alone in the living room and utterly unreachable. I give her credit for quick thinking to call a neighbor, and that neighbor entering the home while this nightmare was unfolding ensured the safety of that baby. Yeah, we could have been having a very different conversation here this evening. And the aftermath, I saw blood literally splashed against several of the walls, primarily in the master bedroom, where the pit bulls had cornered the family pet. The final kill spot was easily identified. There was also blood in the hallway, on the snow outside the front door. I could go on. The rug was covered in fecal matter, considerable blood staining. If you want more details, I'll share them later. Furniture had been ruined, and we carried some of it out to be thrown away. You know, I don't watch horror movies, but I would imagine that a staged backdrop for a gruesome murder scene would look similar. That's some of the property damage. But as I worked with the family that day to begin dealing with the mess and begin putting that home back together, honestly, most of my thoughts were on the fact that this could have ended up much worse. I don't hesitate to say that it is by God's grace that we can talk about tonight only physical damage and personal trauma. I give a great deal of credit to this young family for how level-headed they have been in handling the chaos and the aftermath. I mentioned the mother's response during the event in the ultimate crisis of fearing for her youngest child isolated in the living room with 2 raging pit bulls tearing up the house. She kept her cool, reached out to a neighbor who came to their aid. Safety of this isolated baby in the living room is a blessing we can't undervalue. We could be standing here reflecting on her horrific death. This family has also modeled incredible respect and self-control in the aftermath, considering these pit bulls belong to a backdoor neighbor. We haven't heard a public uproar from them, or any attempt to stir up the community. They've actually worked to contain this, to be responsible and good community citizens. As a result, this event has faded into history for most of our community. They've done incredibly well in handling their own trauma, considering how their family pet was destroyed, how their home was invaded, and the resulting destruction. There's always an emotional aftermath that needs to be dealt with, and there's always the communicating with police, insurance adjusters, curious neighbors, you know it, the list goes on. We've also been made aware of what the Winkler Police Service and Animal Control faced when they entered the house. I don't think it's too much of a stretch to say that facing 2 out-of-control, violent pit bulls in a confined space put them in jeopardy too. They put their own physical safety on the line, probably more often than I know that they do. This wasn't a simple matter to resolve. They deserve our appreciation for this and every consideration for improving the system based on what they've learned. Knowing we can't live backwards, but need to learn from the past, I'd like to make a recommendation, respecting that Jody Penner has indicated that a review has been started as a result of this incident. What I haven't mentioned here is that I was told from a very reliable source that one of our own police service members was restricted in how he could address the aftermath of this event because of limitations in legislation. That really surprised me. So moving forward, I would strongly encourage that to prevent anything happening remotely similar to what this family experienced, that this council be in contact with Ryan Hunt and tell him that you will enact any local legislation the Winkler Police Service deems necessary. So, A, proactively they can promptly and without any kickback address any potential hotspots they come across while serving our community to prevent such a disaster as this happening again. And secondly, should it be necessary, reactively give them every tool they need so they can do absolutely everything they feel necessary to respond effectively, knowing they have the full support of both our written laws and city ordinances to quickly and safely bring to an end such a crisis and ensure that it doesn't happen here again. I do think we've seen here that we need to move past the point of trying to accommodate the preferences of a few citizens that, for the sake of their own personal choices, elevate the potential of danger to the greater population because their wants recklessly disregard the safety and well-being of our community. Again, I respect the leadership in this community because I believe you care about the city and the people. My voice tonight is just to encourage you to make a very clear statement. As you work through this situation, that this council overwhelmingly supports a safe community by making rational and necessary decisions. Thanks for your time.
What this shows us is that these kinds of incidents don't usually come out of nowhere. They often happen after a few warning signs have been there for a while, and there isn't a clear way to step in early. When serious dog attacks happen, the same issues often show up. Dogs getting loose or escaping, fences that aren't secure, dogs left unsupervised, ongoing breeding, and lots of dogs in one place, and past concerns that didn't lead to strong action. This situation had many of the same warning signs. And this isn't only a Winkler issue. We saw a heartbreaking example in Nova Scotia just at the beginning of the year where a 13-year-old boy was killed after being attacked by dogs. Incidents like this are rare, but when they happen, the damage cannot be undone. In this case specifically, the dogs were not properly contained, the fencing was incomplete, and no one was outside supervising them. Even if no one meant for anything to happen, the conditions created a serious and growing risk. One issue I would like to highlight is owner accountability. In many cases, the bigger issue isn't just one dog, it's repeated, unsafe ownership. If nothing changes for the owner, the same risks can come back again with new dogs. These measures aren't about punishing responsible dog owners. Most dog owners do the right thing. These rules are here to protect the public and prevent repeat situations. Right now, Winkler's bylaw gives tools to respond after harm has happened. What's missing is stronger tools to step in earlier, before a family is harmed. Other Manitoba communities already use more preventative measures, including Winnipeg, Brandon, Portage la Prairie, and Steinbach. Winnipeg's model includes things like clear rules around fencing, containment, and proper supervision, stronger consequences when dogs repeatedly get loose, a way to officially label a dog as at risk before something serious happens, required safety measures for dogs that have shown dangerous behavior, required spay or neutering unless a licensed breeding permit is in place, permits and inspections for people who are breeding dogs, and the ability to restrict someone from owning more dogs in serious cases. These tools are meant to step in early to prevent tragedy, not just to respond after harm has already occurred. So today we're asking Council to review Winkler's animal control bylaw with prevention in mind, to see what tools could be added so we could reduce the chance of this happening again. especially as we are such a growing region. This is not a request for immediate changes today. It is a request for a thoughtful review and recommendations. Council is often asked to respond after something terrible has already happened, and today you have the opportunity to help prevent the next one. The parents in this story will carry what they experienced for the rest of their lives. Moments like that just don't simply fade. They shape how you feel in your own home. They change how safe the world feels. They won't remember the wording of the bylaws that were in place that day, but they will live with the reality of what those bylaws did or did not allow. We are deeply, deeply grateful that this did not end in the death or life-altering injury of that 3-month-old baby. This is something the family thanks God for every day. Our hope is simple, that Winkler and other communities like it will take this moment to reflect and ensure our bylaws are built to prevent harm whenever possible, not only to respond after it has occurred. I thank you sincerely for your time, your care, and your consideration. And we also just want to say a particular thank you to the police officers and animal control officers who responded that day. We are so grateful for your intervention and also recognize that you carry trauma from helping others who live through real-life horror stories daily. And we are so grateful for you. Would anybody like this submitted?
Yes, please.
Yeah.
Give it to Jody, or even there is fine too.
Yeah.
I would like to firstly thank you for your presentation and the additional detail. Council has been briefed on the situation.
Yeah.
And it's devastating that it happened. Horrifying
Yeah.
is likely the better word for it.
As a mother, the emotional reaction that I felt when I heard the baby on the couch.
It's really almost
It
impossible
really-
to
yeah.
imagine. And we
Yeah.
are extremely thankful that there were neighbors that were prepared to step in, that were able to do so, that there were friends who came to help clean up afterwards. That's really what community is. We're also extremely proud of our police service and the fact that they responded quickly. 8 minutes after it started, they were on site and they stayed to a resolution. Well-trained, well-resourced police is critical in situations like this. Also extremely thankful for your well-thought-out, well-presented comments today. As Jody has already mentioned to you, immediately after an incident like this, council is briefed, but staff also immediately get to work and say, what can we, or what should we, or what must we learn out of something like this? And we certainly will, and to have suggestions from people who care helps as we review and as we try to find ways to make sure that what happened here today doesn't happen again. So,
And if you could, I
thank you.
encourage you to share that with so many communities we have around us where we know
Absolutely.
there's lots of dogs. And I'm the owner of large dogs and love dogs, but we
Right.
want to make sure we're doing our best to prevent.
Excellent. Thank you for your
Thank you.
presentation.
Thank
you.
Does any member of council have additional comments or thoughts? Thank you for the presentation and for sharing the detailed notes of it and your suggestions as well.
Okay.
Have a
Thank
good
you.
evening.
Yeah.
Thank you. And Jody, we have another delegation, is that
Yeah,
correct?
next up, we have John Dick here for a presentation.
Good evening, John.
Good evening, elected council members, including our Mayor Henry Siemens. And my name is John Dick. You are elected officials, elected by the public to make decisions for the people of Winkler. Some decisions are easier to make than others. You found that out probably.
Mhm.
Some are pretty easy. Regarding a pride movement, where does our mayor and the city council stand on this issue? Just for an overview comment, let me tell you of some issues that the city dealt with in the past. For example, gambling. Winkler had referendums and it was voted out, right? alcohol issue. Winkler had a referendum and it was voted out.
I think the referendum was, the referendum was actually to try to bring it in, if I'm correct.
Okay. well,
But ultimately, yes, it went to a referendum.
Okay. Today we have buckled down to these two items and also accepted Sunday shopping. A note of question: is it the pressure of the outside Manitobans, namely the press, who made fun of Winkler and its standards? In Romans 1, it states, the issue of this conduct, and those that have a pleasure of them that do it, and God will give all these people over to a reprobate mind. We all know what that is, do we? We can read it in the Bible. We as the people tonight want to hear from the mayor and each councillor on the Pride movement and what's happening in the future with this Pride movement. And how will you deal with this issue? Remember, our accountability and blessing in the past and future are from God alone.
Do you have further comment, or would
Well,
you?
let's hear your comments.
John, I would ask that you finish your presentation, and then we'll have an opportunity to respond and to ask questions.
Well, that's basically all I have to say.
Okay.
I just have a prayer yet for closing. Okay, let us bow for a closing prayer. Dear Lord, we pray tonight for our council and our mayor, Henry Siemens, to make wise spiritual decisions for the city of Winkler. Amen. And I would like to respond.
John, I appreciate your comments very much. We strive every day to make wise decisions. We strive every day to make those decisions within the rules that are available to us and within an element of freedom and respect for everyone. In the situation that you're referencing now, we have had a group who has rented some space in Winkler for an event in June. That event is open to people who want to attend it, and it's also no requirement for anyone to attend it. So in that situation, where we have in this moment a group who has made a request to rent some space, and that is the extent of where we are at this point.
Okay, wait a minute. When I see here what the regulations are, the rules. Yes, organizations planning special events on public property or streets in Winkler, such as the Pride Parade, are required to submit a special event permit to the Winkler Police Service, typically requested at least 2 weeks in advance. So the Pembina Valley Pride has announced plans for a march in June 13th, I think, 2026, with organizers focusing on safety and community. They need to take a permit out from the Winkler Police to come out and march on the streets.
I don't believe the plan, from what I understand, there is not a plan for a march. They have rented some space in a park, but I do not believe that the plan is for a march.
So what the thing is, they come in slowly. They might not have a parade this year, but what's happening next year? If we give one finger over what is not right, the next we give the next one, and it goes on and on. Where's our city going with this? Are we allowing Satan to come in It is not from God that this pride parade, we know that for sure. As you're old Christians here, you know what that is. We're standing before God, not before people. We'll give account of, on the final judgment day, what we've all accepted into our town. We want this a Christian town, Christian morals. Where are we going?
Well, thank you for.
I have some people behind me supporting me with what I'm saying. So I hope you take this into serious consideration when this comes in. Because we see it happening in different towns. You know, just for an example, when we don't want the Lord in this town, Satan will take over right away. We see in the southern states where prayer is being taken out in the schools. Well, if we don't want Christ in our life, Satan is ready to step in right away. We have to be strong, not just financially. We have to be strong in the Lord. We have to have a strong spirit. That's what our stand is. This life is short. And if we don't stand up for what is right, we will give account on the last day. Okay, well,
I
hope you
appreciate
take
your
this-
comments, John. And obviously, your opportunity to present to council is always there to be able to share concerns with the community. In this instance, where we are, we have a legal obligation to make sure that we follow the provincial rules and to follow the municipal rules as they are set before us. Your opportunity is to not attend this event, and I would
Well, yeah.
suggest those that disagree with it, I would suggest that they don't attend the event, because it's something that there are many very strong feelings in our community, and we've heard more than a few of them as we've gone already.
But you know, the issue is sometimes, as Christian people, if something bad comes in, like this, or I won't, let's say the pride comes in, walks the streets, Christian people will go and watch, see what is happening. Well, that means they're supporting it. That's what you were saying, not take part of it.
As I mentioned, John, I appreciate
Yeah.
your time here today
Yeah.
and your presentation. Thank you.
Okay, well, thanks a lot.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Thanks for the time that you allowed me.
Absolutely.
God bless you all in the future. Give
Thank
you
you.
wisdom to stand up for the Lord, because that's what we need.
Thank you, John.
Thanks, John. Thank you.
Okay.
Are we allowed? Is there another speaker allowed?
John, if you have, and I'll ask you to stay at the microphone because we do record our meetings and
Okay.
people should have an opportunity to hear them.
Yeah.
John, I believe one of the people that came with you is asking if he could have some of your time.
Yes,
And there is some of your time left if you're prepared to share that.
okay, sure.
by all means.
That's what they're here for.
I haven't really prepared anything in.
I'll ask you as well to state your name,
Oh,
if
yeah.
you don't mind, please.
Good evening, City Council and Mayor, and my name's Abe Hepner here from Winkler. I have lived in Winkler for the past 50 years. I've enjoyed Winkler. Goes back to 1975, Winkler was different.
Mhm.
Today we celebrate diversity, different people moving in. I've gone through the steps that he's saying about referendums. I've seen it. On alcohol, gambling. People voiced their opinion. They went out to vote. They said gambling is not a form of earning a living. And so churches were united. We did not have this multicultural thing. We're different. We live today in 2026. That's evident. We have a different city council than we had then. I believe H.F. Weed was then.
Mm.
What I'm stating is I hear what we're up to. There's no stopping it. Seemingly. But I'm just wondering in general, what is our stand on some of these issues? Winkler is only, and I agree, Winkler is only blessed. The God that blessed Solomon and all the rest of the people. If we want to go any further, I don't know how I should word this, if we want to go any further with any agenda like this, that the Bible speaks against, a reprobate mind, not for those only that do it, but those that support it. And I'm not saying that you support it. That's what I'm saying. But if we go further on that agenda, I can guarantee you our blessings will vanish. It cannot stand. I don't know the bylaws, but I know what blessings are, and they don't come from us. You can do your best, I can do my best, but the blessings don't come from us. Our health doesn't come from us. There's actually very little that comes from us. So having said that, I don't know where everything's at, but I'm also concerned. Celebrating different diversities, and we've lost so much from 50 years ago. So how Winkler Council, I pray for Winkler Council, how Winkler Council wants to address some of these issues is quite a chore. And I hope you do well. I hope you
Appreciate
do well.
that.
I wish you all the best. I love our city. I think our snow clearing, our city works is next to none.
Thank you.
We have good workers. Having said that, I wish you well. Thank you.
Appreciate that. Thank you. Okay. Thank you to both delegations this evening. We will jump back into the rest of our meeting. Takes us to correspondence from Municipal and Northern Relations. The bulletin is attached. Nothing there that we need to take a look to or speak to, which takes us then to finance. Be it resolved that accounts payable in the amount of $1,524,068. Seeing nothing further, all those in favor?
Yes.
Carried. Be it resolved that the MSCW Board minutes and reports for the January 7th, 2026 meeting be received for information. Mover?
Ryan.
Second.
Michael?
Comments? All in favor?
Yes.
Carried. That takes us to first reading for bylaw number 2363-26 to rezone subdivision 4463-25-8505. Mover?
Peter?
Second.
Marvin?
As always, first reading puts it on the table and allows the rest of the work to begin. All in favor?
Yes.
Carried. Be it resolved that the minutes for the Community Services Committee meeting of January 27th, 2026 be adopted. Mover?
Marvin?
Second.
Michael?
Again, attached for your review. All in favor?
Yes.
Carried. Be it resolved that the Morton Veterinary Services District meeting minutes for the February 17th, 2026 meeting be received for information. Mover?
Michael?
Second.
Ryan.
They're attached. Anything there that we should pay particular attention to?
Nothing significant out of the minutes there. Another, say, typical meeting. One interesting note, they realized with the new financing for the roof that the name that was on title and their legal name did not line up. So, so
Yeah.
they had to get the name legally lined up properly. So.
Nice. All in favor?
Yes.
Carried. That takes us to delegations and hearings. Be it resolved that this regular meeting of council recess for the purpose of holding public hearings. Mover?
Peter?
Second.
Ryan.
All in favor?
Yes.
Carried. That then takes us to reconvening a public hearing for subdivision 4463-25-8486 for the Gardens Phase 3. I believe we have the developer joining us as well. John, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Okay, so John Fraze, when we last had this hearing, we recessed it to today to give you an opportunity to negotiate and secure an agreement to be able to move forward. My understanding is that at this point in time, you would be interested in adjourning a little bit longer to March 10th to give you some additional time to complete that negotiation. Is that correct?
That would be correct, yes.
Okay. Council, based on that, I would entertain a motion to adjourn this hearing further until March 10th. Mover?
Ryan.
Marvin.
Ryan got the motion, Marvin got the second. Any additional comments before we go?
Might as well give them time to figure it out.
Agreed. All in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
Excellent. Thank you very much for joining us this evening, John. We look forward to finishing this hearing on the 10th of March.
Yes, thank you.
Absolutely. Have a good evening, John.
Yes.
That takes care of that. I'm looking at 13.2.1.
Yeah,
That is not needed now because we
Correct.
finished there, so we would then be it resolved that public hearings be adjourned and regular council reconvene. Mover?
Michael?
Second.
Peter?
All in favor?
Yes.
Carried. That takes us to additions and other business. Not seeing any of either. I would say then, questions from media or public relevant to this meeting of council. We have a member in chambers, not sure if you've got a question or not. Just hanging out and visiting this evening. Be it resolved that this regular meeting of council be adjourned. Mover.
I'll take that one.
Peter, second.
Ryan.
All in favor?
Yes.
We are